And you're watching tonight. So listen, I'm gonna get right into the show. We are a little bit late. We had some tech problems, but the show has to go on, everybody. So in good jazz fashion, good stage fashion, the show is gonna roll on. And because tonight we have some very special guests here, very special to me, and I'm sure you agree after this show. But while I try to do some stuff over here, I'm just gonna let my guests introduce themselves and because we're going to just get into the heart of it. I'm not going to do my usual monologue or anything like that. So guys, take it away, as they say in the showbiz world, and let everybody know who you are individually and where you represent and where you're from today, and take it away.
Thank you, Roger. My name is Craig Strain. I'm president of the Michigan Jazz Festival, and we're really excited about what's happening with WJZZ, the history of it, and pleased to be here today to talk about the Michigan Jazz Festival.
And I'm Dennis Teeney. I'm vice president of the Michigan Jazz Festival. And as Craig said, we're so happy to see WJZZ and to see you, Roger, and your wonderful staff here promoting jazz and throughout not only the area, but globally. This is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And I'm gonna ask my camera person, just give us camera one. Just keep it on camera one for the whole night. There we go. So we won't get close-ups of our handsome faces in here tonight, but we're gonna get through this. We're not gonna let anything stop us from getting this word out. So Michigan Jazz Festival. So we got the bosses in here tonight, everybody. So you're gonna get the real information and all of that. So I know, Craig, you're the president. Dennis, what's your position? You're the president of the board or the festival, right?
Yes.
And
Vice president of the
vice.
board
Okay,
of
okay. So
directors.
that's it. I'm
Yeah.
dealing with the shot callers today. That's how I like it. Okay, so this is what I know. You correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Michigan Jazz Festival is the second oldest, second largest free festival in Michigan, second only to Detroit Jazz Festival. Is that right?
That's correct.
In size.
In size. Yeah, we in size only. Now, how so I don't recall exactly how old the Michigan Jazz Festival is.
This will be our 28th year, our 28th festival coming up
Okay.
in July.
Okay. And 28 years, always at the same location.
No,
So
it first began when Johnny Trudell got an idea that we needed a festival that featured musicians that come out of the Detroit area, because Detroit is one of the most fertile places for jazz in the world historically. And Johnny and who were the other two?
Tom Saunders
Yeah.
and Emil Morrow. They were three musicians. Tom Saunders was a trumpet player, and Emil Morrow was co-leader of the Austin Morrow Band, and John Trudell had the John Trudell Band, wonderful trumpet player internationally. So they decided to start a festival that would feature Detroit area primarily musicians, which was a little different than the Detroit Jazz Festival, which became more global involved over the years. And it would happen every year, the third Sunday of July every year, and that's what we're doing right now. Another one coming up on July 16th.
right.
And
So-
the first one was at Freedom Hill,
Oh, okay.
Right.
and there were more musicians than people in the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then they moved to Botsford.
Botsford Inn,
Botsford Inn.
and Grand River, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it grew.
Yep.
In fact, it grew so much that after a few years, they outgrew
yeah.
the facility, and we partnered with Schoolcraft College, and we've been there since.
Okay. And so how long at Schoolcraft College to be exact?
24 years, I think.
24
Okay,
years.
so it was just short stays at these other places.
Yeah.
And okay, so the main reason why another festival, because I know Detroit Festival was originally called Montreux.
Yeah.
It was
right.
Montreux, Detroit.
And,
yeah,
it was
exactly.
backed by Ford Motor Corporation.
That's right.
And like you said, so that started getting a life of its own and became like an international thing. So the purpose of the Michigan Jazz Festival was to show local talent for the most part, and to give those
Exactly.
artists some shine and some and some
Notoriety.
notoriety and to
Yes.
the rest of the world to show
Right.
the world what we had.
Yeah.
Now, is that still the mission? Is that still the purpose for
Yes.
Michigan
Yes.
Jazz Festival?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
We-
it's beyond the metro area, but it is Michigan. And
Okay. Yeah.
primarily the metro Detroit area, but we've reached out a little bit
Yeah.
geographically in recent years.
Okay, so I'm just a jazz lover at home, and I know all about Detroit Jazz Festival.
Sure.
Everybody's coming from all over the world. They get all the press, everything, all the. So tell me why I should come to the Michigan Jazz Festival. Other than I just love as much jazz as I can get, but like, what's going to get my butt in the seat?
Number one, it's free. Number two, the parking is free. It's all in one location. There are 6 stages, but they're all within walking of each other in one big tent, and the rest of the stages in the facility. And as you said, local musicians, because there's no better area in the
Right.
world than the metropolitan Detroit area for top jazz musicians.
Right.
Okay, and now I'm going to put my 2 cents in and say this. You guys, this is just on me, my personal opinion. I'm speaking as a fan. This is not hypothetical. Growing up in Detroit, being a Detroiter all my life, and growing up around jazz,
Right.
I've anybody who knows my history and things, I've been around music and artists all my life, predominantly Detroit artists. A lot of famous music artists and groups and things. And my mother happened to own a very popular jazz club from 73 until 80 called the Jazz West in Detroit, next door to Watts, Mozambique.
Right.
Another legendary jazz club.
Yes.
Right.
And I met all, the who's who of jazz at that time. And so what I'm getting to is I'm going to speak about the difference for me. I think, just in a nutshell, and I hope that the bosses over at Detroit Jazz Festival don't take away my privileges, or I'm just speaking from the heart in support of jazz, because I love Detroit Jazz Festival, but like you said, it took turns to where sometimes I have no clue who those artists are. Then it's been times in the recent past I was questioning, was some of the talent jazz at all, and I'm open minded when it comes to jazz. Like, it's some genres of jazz I don't like, but I realize what I do, I have to have a little something for everybody. So I'm open. And if you're not open, then you won't get turned on to anything new. So without beating around the bush, I just think overall, the difference, if I had to narrow them down and I was recommending to people, and they do ask me, one to me is hip and relaxed, and the other one is now too commercial in a sense. It's thousands of people, and then I got to go downtown. I got to fight through the traffic. I got to get there like the day before, just about to eat, because that's a free festival too. And when you're the largest, oldest free festival in the world, you got to get there early.
Yeah.
And so I think the Michigan Jazz Festival is a different vibe. So yeah, it's cool that it's all local people. So you probably know some of the artists that's on that stage, and you probably got a better chance to get some perks out the deal if you're moving around the campus. Somebody might can get you backstage, or it's easier to get a picture or something. So those are the little perks. But I just think it's more of a relaxed vibe. It's not as busy as it's certainly not as expensive. So I don't want to hog the show because it's about the festival, but I just want to let everybody know who the difference. To me, that's my opinion. And if you've been going for a while, then you get a good variety by going to both. But it is, to me, a different vibe. It's a more relaxed vibe. It's a more Detroit, our thing kind of vibe. that we can still say is our thing versus the world's thing. So that's just what I think. So you guys can add your 2 cents in, but you know that was just coming from a fan point of view.
Well said. We agree with the vibe thing, absolutely. And in recent years, we've kind of moved in a little bit different direction with terms of education, youth, educational outreach. Dennis can talk for a minute about our educational outreach program.
What we've tried to do, Roger, is to have the Michigan Jazz Festival visibly involved with the community, the metropolitan Detroit community in particular, but also we're on websites, of course, our michiganjazzfestival.org. So we have clinics throughout the year, including at the festival. So education right from the beginning and the mission of the Michigan Jazz Festival has been an important part. So we'll have a group called Playing with the Pros, which we were involved with for many years, where we'd bring young artists that are young students from around the area, and we'd have 3 or 4 or 5 students come up and they would play with like a professional trio, and then we would clinic them and give them ideas about how to get to the next step and help to network them. Then we have a vocal jazz clinic that's happening, and these are happening this year again, of course.
Okay.
They happen every year. We have a vocal jazz clinic that Gianna Hunter is going to be doing.
Oh, Gianna,
You know
okay,
Gianna.
Yeah, I talked
Yeah.
about her in a
So
minute.
she's a fine vocalist and educator out at Oakland, and she'll be working with Scott Gwinnell's trio, a fine pianist who
Okay.
Scott's
Oh,
on
Scott, yeah.
our board, and he also is involved with the Playing with the Pros with a trio. So we give young people a lot of opportunities. And then throughout the year, we'll have various artists. We had Leonard King do a clinic on Detroit jazz. We had Marion Hayden, a wonderful
Oh, yeah.
bassist, who I worked with for years. I mean, Marion did a wonderful thing on women in jazz, and those are located on our website still. And
Okay.
we've had vocal jazz clinics, we've had arranging clinics, we've had music business. Chris Johnson did a thing on music business for us a few months ago. We've had holiday jazz, and
Okay.
you know, Paul Keller did one of those, and so we have about every 2 months, month and a half to 2 months, there's another free clinic that takes place, and they're primarily Zoom, though we've done a few of them down at Aretha's
Okay.
and in the area, in addition to at the festival, which is the third Sunday of July every year.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick station ID, and then we're gonna get back to this. So everybody, you're watching Jazz Cats. I like to think this is the coolest jazz show that you can watch. So please support us. Like, follow, share, subscribe, leave your comments, leave your complaints, leave your wish list, everything. So right now, we're talking to Dennis and Craig, the bosses, the literal bosses of the Michigan Jazz Festival. It's a team. I have a team here, but you got to give props to the guys that like carry the weight. So, you know, I don't do anything by myself. I have a team that really do most of the work, but you know, I take all the flack when something goes wrong. So that's how it goes when you know, running things. So I always make sure I tip my hat to the guys who get stressed the most, because I understand how it works. You know, everybody wants to shine, but when something doesn't go right, they all like look at you like, it's up to you to fix it. You're supposed to get the checks. But anyway, so everybody, yeah, we're here live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. right here on Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And we need your support. And normally we take phone calls, but tonight, since I'm the boss over here, we're not going to take calls. We're going to let these guys have every moment to talk about the Michigan Jazz Festival. So share this. If you can't catch it now, make sure you watch it on demand when you get home, and like, follow, share, and tell all your jazz friends about what you hear today. All right? So getting back, like you talked about these the clinics. Now, are the clinics just for youth, or are they for adults, professionals, amateurs? Like, what
That's
are...
a great question. They're actually for everyone.
Okay.
We primarily try to reach the young people, the young artists, the students, but also the community, the people that are interested in jazz, the people that go to jazz concerts and want to know more about the history of the jazz, or the history of the players in Detroit area or in the Michigan area, as the case may be. So we're hitting all sorts of avenues of communication, and it's wide open, and they're on our website,
Okay.
and they're free.
Right.
and we keep them on the website so people can go back and look at them. And they're usually about an hour and a half long, of substantive material, and then there's question and answer. So the people that actually go on the Zooms can ask questions, and those questions are very pertinent. We've had some wonderful comments come in from people of all backgrounds and all ages. It's really great.
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
and I know doing it online is a different dynamic, but I would think that's the way to serve most of the people because being free, I'm sure it has to be a first come first serve. If it's a in person kind of thing you show up with, but is it any other criteria? You just say, hey, I want to enroll in this, or I want to participate, and you just
sign up.
Just sign up.
okay,
Well,
that's-
and it's great because we actually intensified it because of COVID. You know
Okay.
what was going on, and we wanted to keep the presence of the festival and education for all the community and the people involved and the students. We wanted to keep that going,
Right.
so we went with a Zoom format because of that.
Okay.
We did do a few live. And we always do live clinics at the festival, and we're gonna continue to have that. Like I know Craig and I will be talking about Aretha's coming up. We have a vocal jazz competition
Yeah,
coming
now
up.
that's to raise some funds, right?
Yeah.
Because this is a ongoing. It's not just a 1 day thing and that's it. So we're gonna get off into how we can support the public and businesses can support the festival. But I want to talk about some of the names. But before we do that, I want to point out when you talk about free this and free that, sometimes the quality and integrity is not there. But you drop some heavyweight names of participants. So you said Marion Hayden. That's like a master class.
That's right.
If you guys don't know who Marion is,
Right.
start doing your homework and Google Marion Hayden.
Yeah.
So I've booked Marion and her son Tariq.
Of course.
Together
Marvelous player.
and separately, right?
And straight
And,
ahead with
yeah,
their
she's
group.
in the history books of jazz.
That's right.
Marion for that. So, like I said, that's a master class, just her by herself. Then Gianna I interviewed Gianna last week. So
Good,
she was
good.
just here.
Great.
And we had some fun with her. And she's a great sport because she wore green, and green clashes with the green screen here, and so she had time, so she ran out and bought a dress just
Oh my goodness.
because she didn't want to cancel or anything.
Exactly.
And she was like, no, we're gonna do it.
Good.
So she ran out and bought a dress and came back, and she's a dynamic vocalist, and we have a concert coming up with Gianna next week. So
Oh,
I
good.
love Gianna.
Yeah.
And she is a teacher by trade. She's a
Right.
teacher. So there again, so this is take advantage of this freebie, everybody, because this is not some rookie thing or no cheap thing. This is like talent. This is
Yeah.
like you could, and then you could save this and keep going back. And I'm sure you've had the same quality of instruction and opportunity in the past.
Definitely.
So we want to give out the website. Let's not wait for another break. Tell us again how to take advantage of this.
MichiganJazzFestival.org.
Okay.
And all the information is there about the fundraisers that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, and the history, the past programs, a ton of great information at MichiganJazzFestival.org.
Okay. And what if I am an artist and I want to get involved? I
Yes.
want to be a part. I want to play. I want to be on the stage.
I'm glad you asked that
There
question.
we go.
Because 2 years ago, we decided to revamp the way we select the performers, to take a different look at it. So we decided that historically, all these years, we've met as a board and talked about some names and what would make a good festival. Then we decided, let's change. And we're going to ask applicants to send in a video.
We have a caller. I'm interrupting you. Go ahead and take the caller. I'm going to try to do this. We're going to do this just because of the Jazz Festival. Caller, are you there? You know what? I have an engineer. I'm going to try to walk you through this. You see the little gray button, engineer, on the mixer? Push the button down. Okay, I don't know. So caller, let's get back to the show. Caller, listen here. I'm sorry. We'll call you up after the show. I promise. I'll personally call you up. Right now, we're having some technical difficulty, and I have my vice president of marketing is in there trying to run the show. So she's not an engineer. So everybody, bear with me. But this is so important that we have to get this word out. So we just have to old school it today and do what we have to do. So caller, I'll call you up and then you can talk to Craig and Dennis if you like or ask a question. So we'll come back to you. So we're gonna roll on, and that's why I didn't want to take callers. But now you outed me, caller. So okay. So
Okay.
what you were saying
So
about
application
process.
We decided that we would invite the community of jazz performers to send in a video. And then we have a selection committee that views the videos and makes a suggestion to the board. Well, we were pleasantly surprised. We got over 150 applicants for 35 spots.
Okay.
And so that was a lot of viewing. And we had, the criteria was, we wanted some new faces, some new groups, and we wanted more diversity. We wanted more youth and with a little bit wider geographic footprint. And last year, 19 new groups out of 34 spots. Actually, a few more spots.
Yeah, out of
last year.
37, yeah.
Okay.
This year, another 19 faces that had never performed on the festival before for these. So a little more than half of our festival is a new face,
Okay,
a new
cool.
group,
Okay.
and that paid off hugely. And it was a lot more work for us, for the selection committee to view all those videos and then make some decisions. But it was great last year, and it's going to be great this year because of this new process.
Well, it sounds like your board is working good, trying to be
Yeah.
progressive and
Absolutely.
innovative, taking advantage of technology and providing opportunities and
Absolutely.
keeping the show going. So I appreciate that. What if I want to be like you guys? I want to help out and bring some resources to. How do I get involved with your board or anything like that behind the scenes?
Very simply, you just go on our website. There's a place where you can give your name and contact information and how you want to help, and we're happy to have your help.
Okay.
We have probably 125 volunteers that assist in every way. Our board is made of 13 wonderful people with different backgrounds and
Okay.
different specialties. Some are musicians, some are teachers, some are professional in the community, some are involved in marketing and fundraising. We've had people from all different professions on the board, and they help because of their love of jazz.
Okay.
And it's all voluntary. Every person with the Michigan Jazz Festival, Roger, is
So
volunteer.
they're there just for their love of
It's
the
all
art
for their love.
and because they want to keep the thing
Right.
rolling. So
Yeah.
that's the best way to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And tell us about, before we get into the bottom line business part of that, which we always have to make sure we do. Let us know some of the artists we can look forward to seeing this
Okay.
year.
Absolutely.
Well, we have, for example, Barbara Ware will be singing, and she's with Cliff Monier, who's a wonderful pianist in town. Leonard King and his band will be back again this year. They were here last year. I wanted to mention too, we had a clinic recently, which you'll like this educationally. We had Gassan Belgrave, which is, our
Okay.
dear friend's
Okay.
son,
Yeah.
and we had James Hughes and Michael Miles. They were like three current artists and upcoming artists, and we did a clinic. Scott Quinnell narrated that and helped to form it, where they talked about how young musicians could get into the profession and make a living
Right.
as musicians. Tariq has performed at the festival,
Okay.
Marion's son,
Right.
a wonderful musician.
Drummer for you all.
Exactly.
That don't know. Yeah.
We've had Dave Bennett Quartet, the wonderful clarinetist, and he will have his group there. And you want to mention a few people? I know we've got the Michigan Jazz Festival All-Star Band,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
was started last year, and Vincent Chandler is the
Okay.
director of that. Vincent's at Wayne State on the
Yeah.
faculty. He was one of my students years ago there, and tremendous trombonist, and so he directs the band, and he'll be doing it again this year for the second year, and they're players from all over the area.
Yes. So he rounds them up.
He rounds them
So
up.
that
with-
all-star, they have
Yeah.
to live up to
Yeah.
it if Vincent is running
It's
it.
Vincent is,
It's going to be a true all-star team, right?
and it's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Dream team of jazz.
And Vincent's on the board, by the way,
Okay,
and Chris
okay.
Johnson's on the board, and we're very fortunate to have some marvelous. Jeff Trudell, who's John Trudell's son, a marvelous drummer, he's on the board. Sally Boley, of course, you know about, who
Right.
is incredible, amazing with everything she does, and Jeff Dunn does a lot of our marketing, and they're everybody.
Right,
I can't
right.
mention everybody, but
We have a stage that is just piano players. We have a stage that is a duo, a piano, mostly, sometimes a guitar, and a singer. And then we have a lot of trios, quartets, quintets, and then we have a room that is a stage that is just big bands.
Okay.
So you can hear, and it's so much fun to see the people with the programs. Okay, I got to run over to this stage, and now right down the hall, I got to leave here in the middle and go see the little bit here, and then downstairs in the Rathskeller, my friend is so and so is playing.
Yeah.
At 3, I got to zip down there, and it's fun to see people
Is
running
it-
around trying to take in as much as they can.
Right. That's part of the experience.
Yeah.
Is like myself, me and my girlfriend, we like two different things. We prefer two different things. So what we sometimes do, if it's something, that's when I take my intermission. But what we've done in the past at the Michigan Jazz Festival, I'll go where I prefer to go, and she'll go where she prefers to go, and she'll take a little video of that,
yeah.
and I'll take some video, and then when we get back to the house, then we both see what
Enjoy
we
it, right.
missed,
Yeah.
right? So that we try not to run around because it's a lot of stuff going on, especially when you want to be at both places at
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I can appreciate that, and I'm gonna take another station ID real quick for our bottom line. But everybody, I'm having a ball tonight. You're watching Jazz Cats, the coolest jazz show, and at the coolest jazz station, WJZZ, Detroit Jazz Radio Entertainment is where you can listen to some great jazz. But on Cool TV, this is the coolest station in the world because we have these guys here, and if you watch every week, you'll see the top artists that some of them are mentioned tonight, but I guarantee you, go back on demand and see some of our past shows and support the station. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Whatever your heart and mind tells you to do and say, we appreciate it. And even your constructive criticism. That's how we grow. That's how we provide you the programming that you want to see. So thank you for tuning in. We're here every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. You can watch us on your favorite platform, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and all top social media outlets. And so without further ado, we're going to get back to this interesting show. And we got, can I just call you guys by your first
Yeah, of
names?
course.
So we got Craig and Dennis, Vice President and President, representing the Michigan Jazz Festival. And see, you guys, I didn't bring you the underlings or not. You got the guys that know everything about everything. Jazz it is. And I'm sure you guys, like he said, this is a volunteer organization, so I'm sure you guys do some other stuff in your life, and this is your recreation, right? And if we have some time, we'll get to that, because it's always cool to know about the people, what they do for you, and how they do it. But
Let's talk about the fundraisers. For a
just
minute.
there you go. I was gonna get right to that. Let's get to the money. See, that's why you're the president.
Well, a free festival like this, of course, is expensive.
Yeah.
As Michael Radner taught me, free isn't cheap. And
Yeah.
so we have a fundraiser this Sunday. It's what's the name of this fundraiser?
it's a Rising Star Vocal Jazz
Rising
Competition.
Okay.
Star. So we had auditions, and we ended up with 5 singers. And these 5 singers are going to perform at Aretha's on Sunday, and we're going to pick a winner. And the winner will get a spot in the festival.
Oh, they get a chance to go on stage.
They'll actually perform with Ramona Collins
I know
Right.
on
Ramona,
her
yeah.
set, because Ramona will be playing with her group,
Okay.
and they'll get a featured hit on that
That's a
set.
good
which
deal.
is- yeah.
Very good.
All
The
you have
first
to do
year-
is be good.
Maybe it's not that easy.
You just got to be really good.
Well, they were selected. I think they had over 50 entrance, and they had 3 or 4 judges that all looked at them and listened, and they ended up with 5, and they're 5 young artists from throughout the community, and they'll be at Aretha's Music Hall
Okay.
this
Downtown
Sunday.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Downtown Detroit this Sunday,
Yeah.
and
You
that's
get
it.
tickets on our website, MichiganJazzFestival.org.
Okay. And that's
then the second fundraiser, generally the biggest one we do is on Father's Day. And the Culinary Arts Department at Schoolcraft supplies the food, and they're famous for their chefs and their food. And then we have a musical act, and this year it's Dave Bennett, and with this Third Coast Swing, which is kind of a Django Reinhardt type group. Really fun, really great musicians, and that's on Father's Day, and you can get a ticket also.
Well, they actually did our spring fundraiser, and this one coming up is going to be with Barbara Ware,
Right you are.
and
Yeah.
Russ Miller's playing saxophone,
Oh, gosh,
and then
yeah.
I think it's Cliff Monier's trio. So it's going to be really nice, and that's going to be at Schoolcraft, which is again a fundraiser,
On Father's Day.
and
Okay.
it's a marvelous brunch that they have for everybody. But the performers will be outstanding,
Yeah.
and that happens at 12 o'clock, and it goes till about 2:30, 3 o'clock.
okay. Cool.
At Schoolcraft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me see. So we got to the. Can you want to name some of your sponsors and make sure we show appreciation
Well,
to
that's
them
very
for
kind.
this year?
We started working on grants about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we hired a grant writer. This festival organization had never been into grants before, and we found that what we're doing is grant
Worthy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Dennis has had a heavy influence in that and working with the grant writer. And we've been really fortunate to get increasing amount of grants every year. As the costs for the festival go up, so
Right.
do the grants. Basically, donors and grants, that's where we get our money to do this, to make it free.
Right.
Tell them a little bit about some of the
Yeah,
grants.
it's been really interesting because we're a small organization as far as our budgets. It's a small budget, and basically for many years, for about 23, 24 years, it was kind of hand to mouth. We would raise money, we would spend the money, give it to the artists that are performing, and to get the equipment or whatever we
Right.
need for the festival, and then we'd have a little leftover, which would be kind of to start us off for the next year. So we started as a board, and Craig and I have been talking to the board for the last several years, and we were able to get a Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural grant this year,
Okay.
which is that's $5,000, which helps us tremendously.
Right.
We have a part-time grants person that helps us with, some of the submissions, but we do a lot of it ourselves together. And then we have the Livonia Community Foundation, which is right in Livonia area by Schoolcraft, and they've funded us. Now this will be the 3rd year in a row they're funding us, which is fantastic. And obviously we get a lot of people from metropolitan Detroit and outside of the metropolitan area, but quite a few people from Livonia, and Schoolcraft is right in Livonia.
Okay.
Last year we were able to get what they call the Arts Midwest Gig Grant, which was kind of a first-time thing. And we submitted to use a wonderful trumpet player who's on Wayne State faculty, Dwight Adams.
Oh,
Good for,
okay.
Dwight.
Yeah.
Marvelous player.
Yeah.
So we submitted a grant, and we were funded for $2,500, and we sent Dwight to several schools. He went to the DSO jazz program that Vincent does. He did some things at Wayne State. He went to just recently out at Roseville High School, which has a diverse program, and Dan Cheshire, I think, is the director out there, and he did clinics out there. And we all went to see him and to support that. And Dwight did a tremendous job. He's a fine player. He's
Right,
also a wonderful educator.
And I want to give a shout out to Leslie too.
Oh,
So Leslie is his other half, and
Yes.
she's a great violinist,
She's
a jazz
incredible.
violinist, and a classically
Yes.
trained violinist. So
Yeah.
she's
Leslie
top-notch.
DeShazor.
Yeah, she's top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she,
went
Yeah.
to see Helpless, and I'm sitting up in the affordable seats, and I hear a viola in the pit, and
Yep.
I'm thinking, that's gotta be Leslie. And
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's just incredible.
Yeah,
she
she
actually
is.
played on an album that my group did with strings, and she was our contractor for the strings, and she played just. She's a marvelous musician.
She
and,
is. Big shouts out to Dwight and Leslie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you guys,
In addition to those, the fundraisers, we also have donors,
right?
people who
Yes.
pony up some cash, and you can name a stage for a certain amount of money, and all 6 stages are named this year, and you can just donate money, and we've been really fortunate in that area. So the fundraisers and the donors and the grants, that's where we
Right.
get our money.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, I want to take a little time before we're out of time to show my appreciation, to say publicly, like, you guys invited WJZZ to participate this year, and you gave us a gift, and I want to do everything I can to show that appreciation, because it's a relaunching this station. You know, it's cool. We get to ride on the back of the call letters, and that's good. That opens a lot of doors. That gets us invitations and things. But we have to live up to that legacy. So again, being the president CEO of this thing, it's not always fun. So I can appreciate the struggle, but I just want to let you guys know publicly, this means a lot to me and my team. And we're just like those bands showing up for the first time, where it's been a long time
Right.
since WJZZ got out in public. And we want to strut our stuff and show everybody, yes, we're back. And not only we're going to stay true to the legacy, but we're going to do something new too. We're going to live up to the expectations, because when you were like king of the hill like Jay-Z
Right.
was, WJZZ proper,
Yeah.
then it's a lot of expectation. And so we appreciate and we will cherish the opportunity to be associated with the Michigan Jazz Festival. And I want to thank you guys personally for extending the invitation to us and everything that you availed to us. And we guarantee we're going to live up to it and make you proud.
Well, we're excited that JZZ is back, and we grew up listening to this. and
Exactly.
it was a big part of our growth in jazz.
Yeah.
And, we congratulate you on that, and we
Yeah.
welcome you to be part
Yeah.
of the festival this year.
Well, thank you.
And it's just marvelous what you and your colleagues are doing. I mean, to bring the historical JZZ back, and all of the wonderful music that was played over the years, and now everything you personally are doing and your fine staff. It's congratulations.
And I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you, we have a small team too.
Yeah.
And it's like a family. So we,
Exactly.
like, some days things just don't go right, like today, and somebody's butt's got to get kicked, and then at the end of it, it's always on me,
Yeah.
because that's everybody's defense is, hey, if I had this or if you did that. So
Yeah.
you know, I sympathize with you guys. I know you lose a lot of sleep when nobody's watching. You like, how are we gonna fix this? How are we gonna do it? But anyway, yeah, this is a cherished opportunity and a privilege for me. So I'm honored, and I promise we're gonna do the best we can do to be a part of it ongoing. So that's my commitment. And it's all things jazz. I'm all things jazz. And I like the blues too, but the lady in there, the marketing lady, she's like, well, let somebody else push the blues line. You just stick on WJZZ. So I have to follow orders too, everybody. So, but yeah, so we want to close out. You guys talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, whatever we need to know, starting with how to get on this website and how to show up at this event.
MichiganJazzFestival.org, ton of information there. Schoolcraft College, free parking. Now they're doing some construction. There may be a little detour to walk in. Schoolcraft is expanding right where we have the festival.
Okay.
But all the stages are active, and it's going to be another tremendous festival.
And it's indoors, right?
So there's one stage that's in a tent.
Okay.
Huge tent outside, right next to the building.
Which
Okay.
people love, by the way. They
Yeah.
love, and we've had good weather almost every year.
Yeah.
Now, do
Yeah.
we need to get a ticket somewhere to get in, or is just show up and walk
You
in?
can do either.
You can
Okay.
show up and walk in, and the wonderful thing about it, there's plenty of parking there. It's on Haggerty, just south of 7 Mile, between 6 and 7 Mile,
Okay.
and it's in the Vista Tech Center, which is a big sign. You can't miss it. And then you come in there, and Sally Bowley, who you know, came up with a great thing called Give Five, and
Yeah.
a
Keep it
lot
alive.
Keep It Alive, which people literally give $5 or more many times, and that's helped us a lot
Yeah.
because, we're a hand to mouth organization.
Right,
We're
right.
just like you were talking
So
about
don't
before.
come show up with lint in your pocket. You got to have at least $1. Just come on now, everybody. Give up at least a couple bucks, right?
But there'll be 34 acts there, and 19 of them are new, and they feature wonderful new artists and people that from around the state, including coming different places like Grand Rapids Orchestra, and Sandra Bomar is going to be there. Mike Jellick's going to be there. A lot of
Mike Jellick.
Oh,
I
yeah,
heard
a lot
Mike
of
playing there
Bill
all
Myers will
the
be
time.
playing there. You
Bill,
know him
okay,
from
yeah,
Birds,
yeah,
of
from
course,
Bert,
with
him
his
and
band.
Ralph.
There's Sonny Wilkinson and her husband Ron Newman. They're marvelous vocalist and pianist. So it's been a wonderful
It's
overview
getting
of
cooler and
everything.
cooler
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the minute. I can't wait. So, okay, this was a big one. I asked Sally about it, but we need to let everybody know. I got a lot of questions about is alcohol permitted because it's a college, it's a school. So, what's the deal? Sally said it's a beer and wine concessions.
Correct.
So it's a cash bar beer and wine concession.
And some light food too on the
Okay.
day of the
Yeah,
festival.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got that part out of
Yeah.
the way. Okay, so
But don't stay home because you think we don't have beer.
right. And wine. 'Cause,
And wine.
The ladies love their wine.
Yeah.
And I'm a beer guy. That's normally that's all I do. But every now and then I'll have a glass of wine. And jazz is one of the excuses that I might have me a glass of wine,
Sophisticated music,
Yeah.
sophisticated drink.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah. So that's cool. So now you got your alcohol, you got your snacks, and it's free, and it's free parking. Like, what excuse will you have? Now, even if you don't like jazz, it's a cheap date, guys.
Yeah.
So you just have to stick it out and pretend you like it, And ladies, he can't get out of it. He don't want to take you anywhere. It's free. Everything's free. It's pop for a couple bucks for a couple glasses of wine. But if you don't have anything, just sit down and it's a free show, top notch. So it's really no excuse. Guys, this is the best date you can get. And if it's your first date, take it from me, young guys, you might get some cool points, and you never know what can happen after that. With the money you save,
Yeah.
your night might get a little bit better after you take in a nice jazz evening at the Michigan Jazz Festival. So in our last 4 minutes, we done did it. We done told them how to get a date.
Right.
So you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves to end the night on, so we'll know about you guys.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I've been in music my whole life. Retired teacher. Used to lead the Brookside Jazz Ensemble back in the 70s and 80s with Ursula and Buddy.
Okay.
And performer myself, and I have a group called Dr. Pocket, which is a 9-piece R&B band, do a lot of Chicago. And I have a Broadway project with a couple singers and flute, violin, cello, bass, drums, and I have a big band. And I'm excited about my big band. We're going to be playing at the festival this year, and it's just, I arrange music for clients, and music is my life.
And what's your instrument of choice?
Trumpet and bass.
Okay, trumpet and
Yeah.
bass. Okay, and Dennis?
I'm a professor emeritus from Wayne State. I taught there for 42 years. I was one of the founding directors of the jazz program and a chairman and a dean down there at Wayne State, and did a lot of playing in different countries. I did South Africa for 20 years, 10 trips there to help start jazz education there, and in South America and in Europe, and pianist, and played with some people like George Sax Benson, and Marcus Belgrave and Pistol Allen, and a lot of people from this area, but some other people nationally too. So
And you said, what's your instrument?
piano and,
Okay.
and a conductor, chorus, and
Okay.
orchestra.
And
yeah.
you said Wayne State, so I'm going to assume you know Carolyn Wanzo.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Carolyn, well, Mel Wanzo,
Yeah.
God bless Mel from the Count Basie band.
Yeah.
He came down and voluntarily played with the big band every week at Wayne. And Carolyn was, obviously his partner, and she donated. And we have a scholarship in his name and an endowment. And Carolyn comes down to Wayne State all the time.
And I have to shout
Yeah.
Carolyn out.
Yeah.
As C, as she permits me to call her now. She's been so great to me.
Yes.
I can't even. So I'd need my butt kicked if I. So I can't even get my mouth to say how much I come to love Carolyn.
She's wonderful.
I can't even tell you how much she's helped me and advised me and criticized me to get this right and
That's great.
this kind of stuff. So anyway, when you said Wayne State,
Of course.
Yeah.
that's the lady that's about the cash for real.
Yeah.
When he passed away, they created a scholarship, and the Count Basie band came to play
Right.
to promote the scholarship, and they played one of my arrangements, which was one of the highlights
Right,
for me.
exactly.
Sitting in the audience, and they said the arranger of that last tune, Count Basie played, is right here.
Yeah.
So that was exciting.
And another thing I'll say about her, all you ladies, Carolyn is a real jazz lady. She's a jazzy lady, a sophisticated lady, and she knows the jazz game. She knows the artist. She knows the history. So you guys, you ladies, if you want to, have some footsteps to follow or some challenges to your jazz knowledge, then you got to get with Miss Carolyn Wanzo. Because she is a jazz lady to the bone.
And she loves the music. Totally.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything about her is jazz.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're at the end of the show. And it went by, and I'm so grateful to you. I'm going to watch this show again myself. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Count me
Thank
in
you.
from now on. As long as I'm allowed to do what I do, you guys can count on me, and I will
Thank
do whatever I can do.
Thank you. We welcome you and all of the community and your listeners, your wonderful listeners, to this great station.
Thank you. So everybody, you had another great show. I thank you all most of all because we can't do it without you. We're trying to grow this station. We're trying to grow the jazz culture, and it's cool to be a jazz head. It's cool. So check it out if you haven't got with this culture yet. This is not Grandma and Grandpa's music. Check out Esperanza Spalding, Kamasi Washington, Alan Denard, Kassan Belgrave, Tariq Gardner. Like it's Robert Glasper. It's young people out here that's killing it. You don't have to think this is all Grandpa's music. Okay, trust me on that. But we thank you. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. Tune in next week. And I'm not even going to tell you who the guest is going to be next week. Yes, I will. No, I won't. Anyway, tune in next week, everybody. Wednesday nights at 8. Thank you for watching. Everybody have a good night. And watch on demand. If you're at work, tell your husband, save it for him. Talk to you later. Good night.